What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. And today it's my official NHL 2025 playoff predictions. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. Sorry for missing the past couple podcast episodes. We are back here. So let me do this real quick. Bracket. Just updating this for you guys the screen so you guys can see what we're doing here for the day. Just give me a minute here. Right up there. Alright, there you go. So, we're gonna go over fantasy. My fantasy is over. It's gonna go over the top three players. You're gonna go over the standings for the end of the season there for my fantasy. I will go over my predictions, but I forgot to do my prediction for today's games. Actually, for the USHL, because no NHL games. But yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. Review the Wednesday's USHL playoff games, and then today's USHL playoff games. Review the past 3 days worth of NHL games, so Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, all the ones we missed, and then we're gonna go over my NHL bracket challenge. That's what we're doing today. So for fantasy, before you go over this, all my social medias, X, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that. My website, my Spotify, my Twitch Discord, my Discord for this podcast, my basketball channel, my baseball channel, my American football channel, USHL discussion Facebook group with about 5.2 thousand USHL fans, another Facebook group called Saints for Life. There are thousands of Big Fight Saints fans. Paragraph and a half who I am and what I do in this podcast. Another paragraph how to contact me if you have any comments, questions, or concerns. All that much more is in the description of this podcast. Check it out if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you like this podcast. Follow on Spotify, same thing. Like this episode if you like this episode in particular. Like and Spotify, same thing. And turn on post notifications to this channel if you like this channel. If you want to know every time I go live and upload a video on the channel. So, yeah. That being said, here are the official standings for my fantasy league at the end of it here. Salmon Slayers finished number 1, winning the championship matchup, 17-4 record. 2 was Leather, 17-4 record. 3 was the Boldy and the Beautiful, who beat me. We got third place. They were also 17-4. Fourth place was me, 14-7, and then it was Toronto Maple Leafs at 5th, 11-10. Glizzy was 6, 7-14. This is like based off the matchups because it's kind of like a round robin in the losers bracket. That's why some teams with the better record with below other teams. Like Glizzy was number 6, 7-14 record is above 7. Daniel's Darren team 10-11 record. Then his Steve Small team 3-18 record. And then Justice Scary team was 7-14 record, and Taco's 2-19 record. So yeah, I finished 4th. We're looking to do better next year. So. Yeah. Alright, Alright. So let's go to the USHL game starting with Wednesday. Muskegon takes game 3 in Muskegon. Takes down Cedar Rapids, goodness. Rough Riders go home early. 4 unanswered goals for Muskegon, 4-0 lead heading into second period. Too much overcome for Cedar Rapids. Muskegon moves on to play the number 1 seed Youngstown and Sioux City Musketeers. Complete the sweep over Fargo and Sioux City. This one is 5-2. It's a 24-17 favor Fargo. Fargo 2-4 on the power play. Sioux City 1-3 in the power play. And Fargo 4. The defending champions are eliminated. Sioux City sweeps them in the revenge of the Fargo beat Sioux City in 5 games last year in the Western Conference Finals. Sioux City gets their revenge, sweeps them out of town, and Sioux City's moving on to play Lincoln. Let's go to Friday's games here. There's 3 games, 3 game 1s for the conference semifinals, and then there'll be 1 game 1 tomorrow, and then a couple of game 2s. Starting with Madison, Dubuque. Madison, 3-0 W in Dubuque. Shuts 29-23 in favor of Madison. Madison 0-3 in the power play. Dubuque 0-1. There was no goal through the first 40 minutes. Finn Brink scores. Minute 48 in, and there's 2 empty nets by Mason Moe and Capel at the end of the game. So it was really only 1-0 if you exclude empty nets. So here's how I describe this game. I would describe the game as very close, physical, trippy, and whoever gets the first goal will win the game. That's really what it was. Both teams playing good defense. Both teams had their opportunities. Both goalies played out of their mind. Madison scored early. Beautiful pass from Mercury Lee. 180, no look behind the back. Pass to wide open Finn Brink. Forehand backhand over the left pad of Liam Bierman. 1-0 Madison gets a first goal of the game early in the third. And then Madison holds them off and then gets 2 empty nets to end the game as Madison stuns Dubuque. Game 2 will be held tomorrow, Saturday night in Dubuque. And then Game 3 will be on Monday in Madison. Game 4, if necessary, will be on Tuesday in Madison. And Game 5, if necessary, will be on Thursday in Dubuque. So, yeah, that's what we're doing right now. As a Saints fan, pretty disappointed. But at the same time, kind of glad at their effort. But overall, just a fan, not being biased. It's a good game from both teams. Caleb Heidel, 23 save shutout, and is in the playoffs here. Great time to do it. Waterloo upset Sioux Falls in literally the biggest arena in the USHL, probably the toughest place to play in the USHL. Waterloo says, I don't care, and scores 3 unanswered goals in the third period, wins 4-2 in Sioux Falls, shot to 22-34 in favor of Sioux Falls, 32 saved, 34 shots against for, I believe, Casey, and Liz Hendrickson came back, or Vacon. I gotta check real quick here. I don't think any of them came back, but either way, Waterloo, phenomenal game. McMorrow gets a pair of goals. Deering, Devitil gets the other 2 goals, and for Sioux Falls, Saphir, if you say that, and Charlie gets 2 goals for Sioux Falls. I'm just gonna make sure that none of Waterloo's goals came back. Nope, it's Cutter Casey, the affiliate call-up, and phenomenal for him in the playoffs. Waterloo is 3-0 in the playoff this year. Goodness, this microphone's actually so bad for some reason. Okay, I have to use my mic, my computer mic, so it's fine. Alright, so yeah. So, let me see here. Tomorrow, yep, game 2 is tomorrow in Sioux Falls. That's gonna be a phenomenal game, but Sioux Falls, they play a good game, but not good enough to get the W with Waterloo. In the last game of the night, Lincoln Stars scored 2 unanswered in the third period to pick up a close nail-biter of a victory in Lincoln. Lincoln 1-0 in the playoffs to get their job done versus the red-hot Sioux City Musketeers after coming off a sweep. Lincoln Stars go 1 for 6 on the power play. Sioux City go 2 for 5, shot 22-21 for Lincoln. Very, very close, chippy game, but Lincoln gets the W at the end of the day. Game 2 will be tomorrow in the Icebox in Lincoln. So, yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see. We're going to review the past 3 days of NHL games. It's Tuesday. The Devils pick up a 5-4 W over the Boston Bruins. Huge W for the Devils. They needed that win desperately, and they get it done. Leafs in Buffalo take down the Sabres 4-0, 35 save, Anthony Solow shutout. Leafs are pretty hot right now. Blackhawks get outshot 37-16 by the Senators, but they get the W 4-3 in overtime. And then moving on to Philadelphia, 3-0 shutout victory for the Blue Jackets, 29 save, Merzlikin shutout, I'm assuming. Lightning win this version of Battle of Florida 5-1, 23 save, 24 shots against Vasi. First round preview there, that's interesting. And then, hold on, let's go closer. Okay. So, yeah. And then the Capitals defeat the Islanders 3-1. 32 saves, 33 shots against for Lindgren. He needs to play like that for the playoffs if they want to make a deep run this year. Blues take down the Hockey Club 6-1. Wild defeat the Ducks 82 in overtime, shot to 40-29 in favor of the Wild. Flames get outshot by the Knights 42-28. It doesn't matter. They get the shootout victory in Calgary. And Kraken pulled a nail-biter victory versus the Kraken 6-5 on the road. On Wednesday's games, here we go. The Canadiens open the night with a W versus the Hurricanes as they clinch the last playoff spot, and the brackets officially set after that victory. The Jets end their President Trophy run with a 2-1 overtime victory on home ice versus the Ducks as they head into the playoffs off a W. Red Wings defeat the Devils 5-2. Not what you want to see as a Devils fan there. Predators defeat the Stars 5-1. Definitely not what you want to see as a Stars fan. They're already not looking good, but losing to the Predators, that's iffy. Knights take care of the Canucks 4-1 on the road, and the Oilers shut out the Sharks 3-0. 18 save. Pickard shut out, I'm assuming. I think it was Pickard? I'm not quite sure, but either way, here, let's go to the last NHL regular season games of the season. Let's get into it here, starting with the Sabres taking down the Flyers 5-4 in a 1-goal game. Sabres end the season off a W. Leafs score with 1.8 seconds left in the third period to tie the game, and Scott Laughton wins the game in overtime. Senators go up 3-0, but at 5 unanswered, score 4 unanswered, pick up the W. That was one of the games of the year, not gonna lie, in the last day of regular season hockey. Rangers end their season off 4-0 W. Wait, I just realized this. So Sam Rosen, the Rangers commentator, is retiring after this game, and he's played, I think, announced 40 seasons or something like that in the NHL. Something to do with 40 because the jersey numbers is 40 and stuff. So 27 safety goals, second shutout. The Rangers scored 4 goals. Lightning a shutout. 4-0 is 40. There is no way I'm the only one that noticed that. It's 40. Because that's how many years he's announced. And they were wearing warm-up jerseys with number 40 for Sam Rosen. I've not seen anybody notice that. That's crazy. Pull up. Not Sam Rosen. Check. Yeah, that's crazy. Number 4 and then 0. It's 40. If you put the Rangers score in front of the Rangers score, it's 40. He's announced 40 years for the Rangers. That was his last game. Pretty poetic in my opinion. Just realized that. Haven't seen anybody notice that. That's pretty funny. I just noticed that. Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins take down Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals. Capitals not heading into the playoffs very on a pretty cold streak right now, but they're sitting a lot of players. They're playing like the 4th string, I think, and they're sitting a lot of players, so I'm not really worried about that. Blue Jackets take down the Islanders 6-1 at the end of the season. So if the Canadians lost to the Hurricanes on Wednesday, the Blue Jackets would be in. Just funny, kind of what, but in a way. And then the Flames defeat the Kings 5-1 in Crypto.com Arena, which very few teams have been able to do in the last game of the 24-25 regular season. So yeah, I'm gonna go to a blank screen here, just in case I have to sign into the NHL Bracket Challenge, which I believe I probably have to do. NHL.com Bracket Challenge. Before I sign this, I'm gonna try my mic real quick. See if this works. My actual mic sounds better, it's clearer, and it's like easier to hear. That'd be better if it would work. Oh, of course it doesn't. Alright. Not doing that today, I guess. Alright. So, bracket challenge. Why is my thing so zoomed out? Not quite sure. Whatever. Okay. Alright. I'm trying this one more time before I start this bracket challenge. Thingy-mabobber. I already made my bracket on my thing, so my phone stuff. So okay, it is there. It is. We're back. We're back on my actual microphone. That's a W's in the chat. Let me open up this bracket challenge. Log into NHL Game Zone. This is why I went black screen, so you guys don't see my personal login information. No. Did I type a T there? Oh. And my microphone decided not to work again. That's a W. Okay, so brackets. I already have one. Don't look at that. Don't you do not you don't. Oh yeah, you can't literally look at it. My God. Okay. Okay. Yep, we're back. Tell me who I think I'll win round one. Ain't gonna tell me who I think will win round one. I'm just gonna pick a random team. Don't take this. Take this with a grain of salt. Got it. Yep. Okay. Cool. Okay. No, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I'm just gonna refresh. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We locked in. We locked in. We locked in. So, okay. Here's my official 2024-2025 Stanley Cup playoff predictions, breakdown, whatever. Let's do my predictions here. Let's go into it here. Winnipeg Jets hosting the St. Louis Blues. With the Blues rocking in here, red hot. You know, I won't say red hot because they kind of cooled off of late, but still, they came off a 12-game win streak, and then they were doing pretty decent. They're trying to ride the wave of that 12-game winning streak into Winnipeg, and the way that kind of Hellebuyck is playing, it's going to be really tough for them to do that. And, you know, the Winnipeg Whiteouts going to be really tough to play in tomorrow, actually technically later, but Saturday at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time is going to be the first NHL playoff game. It's going to be Jets and the Blues game 1 in Winnipeg. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the Blues handle the pressure here. But the Jets, if you look, so Ehlers is probably not going to play for this series. That's key for the Blues because Blues have probably a better forward core on paper, especially without the Jets having Ehlers, because he really carried the load when it came to having the second line. So he'll probably be back for the second round if he's not already back for the first round. That is, but yeah. So, but still, I'm gonna change the name of this real quick to hold up. The Intermission Podcast. Ooh, just Intermission Pod. Yep, that works. Okay, so yeah, but the Jets, I think the way Hellebuyck's been playing, Binnington is a big time playoff performer. But when I look at the way these teams are constructed, I like the Jets. I like that the Jets have a number one defender. Blues don't really have that. I like Hellebuyck. I think Hellebuyck's gonna have a great year. The Jets have been far more consistent. I know you can say the Blues have been red hot of late, but I think the Jets have been more consistent throughout the season, including down the stretch. And I think that the Winnipeg Jets are gonna have a big chip on their shoulder. So with the Blues, I think this would be a great series. But I think when you break it down and you not look strictly off of records and how teams have been playing as of late, I think when it boils down to, I think the Jets are overall better team, giving the Jets to go to the second round of the Blues in 6 games. So here we go. The winner of the Stars and the Avalanche series will play the Jets. In this series, the thing that sticks out to me, first of all, Jason Robertson is week to week, and he will be missing game 1 for sure. Miro Heiskanen is out for an unknown amount of time. He'll probably miss the first couple games. I'm not really that quite sure when he'll be back. So yeah, those are 2 huge injuries, right? Mikko Rantanen's on the Stars versus the Avalanche. That's kind of funny. But the thing, before I even get into explaining why I'm taking the Avalanche in 6 games, reason being, first of all, the first pairing. First pair is Ilya Lyubushkin. Ilya Lyubushkin playing 23 minutes a night. Nathan McKinnon and Kel McCall are going to eat that man alive. 23 minutes a night. Okay, that's what's about to happen. And second pairing, you got Cody Ceci. Marty Niedrus, Artturi Lehkonen, Valentin Nichushkin, and Nathan McKinnon and Kel McCall, even if he plays them for a little bit. Whoever he plays in that Avalanche top 6, or even top 9 for that matter, will cook him. Like, that Stars right side of the defense is going to get annihilated by the Avalanche's top 9. And the Avalanche are going to be able to score so much. I am actually a personally believer in Mackenzie Blackwood. I'm not a believer in Mackenzie Blackwood, but I'm not a person to say that I don't I'm not going to pick the Avalanche because I don't trust Mackenzie Blackwood. I understand where people are coming from when they say that. But with the way Mackenzie Blackwood's been playing, he's been good, and Ange has been inconsistent at times this season. But I understand just regular season. I think Blackwood's going to have a good enough series where the Avalanche are going to be able to get past the Stars in about 6 games. I think the right side of the Stars defense and Robertson and Heiskanen being out are going to hurt the Stars. Give me the Avalanche in 6 games. The Avalanche beefed up their top 9. Give me the Avalanche 6 games to play the Winnipeg Jets in the second round. And then we got the Knights and the Wild in the first round matchup here. Now, there are some people taking the Wild here, and I understand that. I think there's a potential for an upset here. There's a world, alternate reality, whatever, that the Minnesota Wild are able to pull out a team that when they looked like in the beginning of the season with, like, until, like, December, up to December, the first couple months of the season, when they're, like, one of the best teams in the league, when they're fully healthy, then they got hurt, and then they've been a downhill trajectory since then, and then when they got healthy, they actually won a couple games in the season. If they can pull out what they did at the beginning of the season, I could see them upsetting the Knights. I could see it. But I think the consistency of the Knights, we know what we're going to get from the Knights, the playoff experience of the Knights, how deep the Knights are top to bottom. I'm concerned with the Wild, they don't really have a true secondary scorer. You can say Eriksson, Boldy, you could say. But Jack Eichel for the Knights, Mark Stone, Dorofeev, etc., etc. I think the Knights are a deeper team. They're built for the playoff. I do like the Wild's top 6 and top 4 on defense. But I think we know what we're going to get from the Knights, and we don't know what Wild team we're going to get, so I'm going to pick the safer option here. I'm going to take the Knights in 6 games. I think the Wild will give them a run for the money, but I think the Knights will come away with the W in the series in 6 games. So the first 3 series of mine are all going to be finished in 6. Kings and the Oilers. This one has been basically split down the middle. I could see it going either way. But first of all, the Oilers are kind of hurt, and second of all, the Kings have dominated the Oilers the past couple of meetings they've had this season. How good the Kings are at home, and they have home ice advantage. They get to travel less. I think the Kings are a deeper team, especially with the Oilers having health issues right now. And the goaltending is miles better in the Kings' favor. Stuart Skinner, I think, an .894 save percentage this season. Kemper's been a top 4 goalie this season. There's a big difference when it comes to goaltending here. I think both defenses are very good. The Kings have the best 5-on-5 defense in the league statistically, a little bit ahead of the Avalanche. The Oilers actually have a pretty decent 5-on-5 defense as well, but the goaltending is such a mismatch. I think I'm gonna take the Kings in probably about 6 games. So my entire Western Conference is gonna be in 6 games. I'm actually gonna take the Knights in 7 games instead. Yeah. And I'll take the Kings in 7 games too. Nah, I'll take them in 6. I think if they go to game 7, the Oilers will beat them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I think overall, the Kings, the whole thing, I think the Kings are more well-rounded, especially at 5-on-5. I think what's really going to get the Kings is how bad their power play is, but the Oilers' penalty kill is really bad, so that might even each other out there. But I think that the Kings' bad power play will get them down the line. Not quite yet. Not quite yet, necessarily. So I think, yeah, I just think that the Kings are going to get a better hand of them this time. Give me the Kings in 6 games. If you look at the Eastern Conference here, starting with the Battle of Ontario, Leafs and the Senators. Senators, they're gonna come into the series with a lot of physicality, right? Like the amount of physicality that they're gonna come out with is gonna be a lot. They're juiced up right now. They want to play this Leafs team. They are juiced up. So I think with how juiced up they're gonna be, I think that's gonna be a lot. But I think Mitch Marner, Nylander, Matthews, and Tavares are gonna actually show up this year. I think they will. And I think goaltending for the Leafs is going to show up huge. I think goaltending for both teams are going to be huge this playoff series. I think the defense of the Leafs is going to be great. I know they don't have a number one defender, and that's going to suck. But I think they're going to be able to overcome that because I think their defense is deeper than the Senators overall. That's pretty safe to say. What? Yeah, I think. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, yeah, you can hear me. But yeah, I think the Leafs defense is deeper, and I think overall, I think the Leafs can get the better hand of them. Give me the Leafs in 7 games here. I think the Leafs finally get over the first round hump, and they get to the second round. Now we got the battle of Florida, Lightning and the Panthers. Rematch last year's first round. The Panthers got worse, in my opinion, because with their health issues and their back to my computer. I might use this the rest of the time. But yeah, the Lightning changed drastically in their favor compared to last season. Hagel's now an 90 point scorer. Cirelli really solidified himself as one of the a top 3 defensive forward in the entire NHL this season. Nick Paul's been great. Yanni Gourde getting added. Bjorkstrand if he's able to play, probably not for this series, but eventually maybe down the line. Obviously Nikita Kucherov winning a Hart Ross. Braden Point getting 40 plus goals. Gunsel getting 40 plus goals. Gunsel, how big he is in the playoff performance. Their top 9 is phenomenal up and down. The depth is phenomenal. They have a number 1 defenseman in Victor Hedman. They have a number 2 defender in Ryan McDonough. They have good defensive depth, J.J. Moser, Eric Cernak, etc., etc. Then they obviously have Vasilevsky, who's been a top 3 goalie this season, probably the second best goalie this season, behind obviously Hellebuck. And I think the ability for them to have that consistent of a goaltender, both teams do for sure. It's going to be a phenomenal goaltending battle just like last season, but I think the Lightning get the upper hand with the Panthers. I think they're just a better and deeper team this season, especially with the Panthers not being able to have to truck maybe, and Ekblad being out for the first few games. Give me the Lightning in probably just 6 games. Next up, we got one of the most fascinating series of the playoffs. We have the Capitals and the Montreal Canadiens. Canadiens coming in off a W. They're red hot, right? I wouldn't say they're red hot, but they are juiced up right now. It's a young core, right? Young Canadiens core right now. They're ready to go. They're juiced up right now. The Capitals heading in a bit of a cold streak. To be fair, they weren't really trying all that much. They were resting guys. They weren't playing. They were playing the 3rd, 4th string goalies, 5th string goalies even at times during that stretch because they didn't want to play either the other first 2 starters, the starter and the backup, Lindgren and Thompson. And then the players weren't really trying that hard either. But like, I'm not worried a little about the Capitals. I think the consistency of the Capitals, even if they don't have Thompson for the series, I think Lindgren will be good enough. As well, assuming that Logan Thompson gets back by the second round, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Capitals, I really like this team in general compared to the Canadiens. I think both teams will be very physical this series. I think the Capitals roster is really good right now, and I like the way the Capitals, how consistent they've been playing this entire season compared to the Canadiens. I've been up and down, up and down, up and down. So I'm going to take the Capitals in 6 games. And then the last first round series I'm gonna talk about here, the Devils and the Hurricanes. If you look at this series, the Hurricanes, very heavy forechecking. They're not gonna let the Devils do very much. I think the Hurricanes have more forward depth. Their defense is gonna be suffocating. They live and die behind with their defense. Goaltending is a concern for both teams here. Hurricanes, Freddie Anderson, Kucherov, whatever one, they're good, but they're not exceptional. Markstrom's had a bit of a down year this season. He's been about average. Has been nothing too spectacular. Both defenses are phenomenal. Both offense is really who's going to show up on the offensive side of the puck. And I think I trust Rod Brindamore's system more than I trust the Devils. And I'm going to take the Hurricanes here in 6 games. Yeah. 7, 6, 6, and yep. All right. Here we go. First round series is in the books. Jets beating the Blues in 6 games. Avalanche beating the Stars in 6 games. Knights beating the Wild in 7 games. Kings beating the Oilers in 6 games. Leaf beating the Senators in 7 games. Lightning beating the Panthers in 6 games. Capitals beating the Canadiens in 6 games. And the Hurricanes beating the Devils 6 games. So, yeah. With that being said, let's get a second round series starting with the Winnipeg Jets and the Colorado Avalanche. This is a pretty bad matchup on paper for the Jets. You know, Avalanche dominated last season in the first round when these two teams faced. I think this season Hellebuck is going to play phenomenal this season. I think he's going to play like regular season Hellebuck. I think the Jets are going to be able to figure out that the Blackwood has that much playoff experience. I think Hellebuck's going to demonstrate how important he really is to this team. The power play of the Jets are going to be able to score a lot of times versus this poor Avalanche penalty killing. And it might be tough. I know the Avalanche are second best 5-5 defense. I know, but the Jets are also going to score a lot in the power play and create a lot of momentum when they get the power play. And I think the Hellebuck's going to stand in his head this series. Give me the Jets to the Western Conference Final. The popular pick is the Avalanche here, but I'm going to take the Jets to get the job done this time around. We look at the Knights and the Kings in the second round, though. This one's really, really interesting. I think 5-5, these teams are pretty even. Kings are the best 5-5 defense. You're not going to let the Knights do much on the offensive side of the puck on defense. Goaltending, Darcy Kemper is probably slightly better than Aiden Hill. In general, offense in general, probably the Knights. With special teams, the Knights have the second best power play in the league. Kings have a pretty good penalty kill, but the Knights, both teams have the Knights. Do they have good penalty kill or bad penalty kill? I don't remember, but I know the Kings have a really bad power play. That's gonna come back to bite them in the series. I'm gonna take the Knights in 6 games. Yeah, and then we got the Lightning and the Leafs in the second round. I could just go either way. The Leafs swept them 4-0 this season versus them in the season series. The players are a different beast. I trust Vasilevsky more than I trust Anthony Stolarz. That's it. I think the Leafs not having a number one defender is actually going to come back to bite them this series. With Lightning having Victor Hedman, then obviously the number 2 defender, Ryan McDonough. I think the Lightning are a deeper team in general, and I think the Lightning superstars are going to show up when it matters most. Give me the Tampa Bay Lightning onto the conference finals of the East. Their opponent in the Eastern Conference Finals, either the Capitals or the Hurricanes, assuming Logan Thompson is back for the series and ready to go. Give me the Capitals in 7 games. I think the Capitals, I trust Logan Thompson in a 7-game series, in a Game 7 situation at home. I add more than I trust Freddie Anderson or Peter Chekhov. I do. And I think that's going to prevail. And I think Logan Thompson and the Capitals are going to the conference finals this season. So here's my Eastern Conference, my conference finals. Western Conference Finals. Winnipeg Jets hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. Eastern Conference Finals. Washington Capitals hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning. Here we go. Starting with the West. Western Conference Finals. Winnipeg Jets, Vegas Golden Knights. Connor Hellebuck, in my opinion, is going to be way better than the Aiden Hill series. The 3-headed monster in the Knights defense, Noah Hanifin, Shea Theodore, Alex Petrangelo, phenomenal. Sandberg, Morrissey. For the Jets defense, they have good defense. Ehlers obviously should be ready to go, assuming he will be ready to go for the second round series, I'm assuming. And assuming he is, and he doesn't get re-hurt, he'll be ready for this series, re-injured. He should be ready for this series, too. I think the Knights are both teams are really deep, but I think what's going to put the Jets over the edge in 7 games is Connor Hellebuck. Connor Hellebuck is going to solidify himself this run. I think he's going to go on a really, really good run this season. Give me the Jets to represent the West out of the to go to Stanley Cup Final, represent the Western Conference. To play the Winnipeg Jets in the Stanley Cup Final. Capitals, you're the Lightning. I think I trust Vasilevsky more than I trust Logan Thompson. I love Logan Thompson, but I think Vasi's just that good. I think the Lightning, both defenses are really good, but I think the offense, the star power, and offensive star power from the Lightning, depth from the Lightning, is just going to be too much. You're going to be able to score a lot in the Capitals. The Capitals don't have that star power. I love Ovechkin. He has 43 goals this season while also having a broken leg. But still, I think, but they don't. Dylan Strome's been great. Pierre Dubois has been great. But they don't have a Nikita Kucherov. And then even if, let's say Ovechkin's a superstar, just say, they don't have a secondary guy besides Ovechkin like the Lightning have Braden Point, Braden Hagel, Anthony Cirelli, Jay Gunsel. They don't. Okay. And they in the Lightning also have Yanni Gordon and Nick Paul, etc., right? Lightning, I think, are a deeper team. They have the top six is significantly better, and the bottom six is probably better. So the forward core in general, including star power, is better. Defense, probably the Capitals on paper. Goaltending, Lightning. Give me the Lightning in 6 games to play the Jets. Here we go. Stanley Cup final. Here it is. Jets hosting the Lightning. And in a Game 7 series. Okay, Game 7. Okay. Actually, I'm going to say Game 6. I think this series is going to 6 games. And I think we battle the 2 best goaltenders in the NHL. And I think the Winnipeg Jets and Connor Hellebuyck have enough momentum and enough confidence built up that the Winnipeg Jets are going to defeat the Lightning in 6 games. I was going to say like 54, I don't know. The Winnipeg Jets are going to win the Stanley Cup final in 6 games this season. Mark it down now. Winnipeg Jets are your Stanley Cup champions. Mark it down right there. Right there. Right? Right there. Right there. Okay. I say it. I stand on it. Yep. Yeah, that's gonna do it. Hope you enjoyed. Whether it's your morning, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time you watch, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this episode if you haven't already. Following on Spotify and liking on Spotify, same thing. Turn notification channel if you haven't already. And so yeah, hope you enjoyed my picks. Feel free to comment. Feel free to do whatever you want. If you disagree with me here, hope you enjoyed today's episode 25 of season 10, my official NHL playoff bracket predictions. And see you guys tomorrow for episode 26 of season 10. Peace.